Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of PoCommunity. I'm Mike Garboyd and I'm sitting here with Braidey Sturgeon from Estate Vision.
That's me.
How's it going?
It's great.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me here.
No problem. Thank you for coming. Tell me about Estate Vision. What exactly is it?
Yeah, so Estate Vision is the business that I started this year. It's photography, videography, 3D virtual tours, and 2D and 3D floor plans. So it's huge for real estate, super popular in real estate. Pretty much every realtor uses those, in some degree. But it's not limited to the real estate, actually. It's really good for architecture, it's good for construction, renovation, city and community projects, events and banquet spaces, basically, and storefront businesses as well. Anywhere that has a space that they want to share with people, because those 3D scans can be integrated right into Google Maps.
Well,
And then, so it's a really powerful tool just for Google, right? And for your business to get connected, and people can come and they can tour your business virtually, which of course is huge, right? With pandemic climate, so people can just come in, and they don't actually have to be here. They don't have to like wear a mask or anything like that. It's all digital.
that's really cool. How'd you get involved in that?
Well, I'm a photographer, so that's kind of how that happened. And then, I pivoted, of course, with the pandemic and decided to move into real estate, essentially. And then I heard about the 3D camera, and I was like, that is the coolest thing. I don't know how I didn't hear about this before. I want to be all over that. So, of course, that's kind of what led me into all the 3D aspects, and floor plans are a part of that system, essentially.
That's really cool. I guess that's a great pivot. Obviously, it's a
The real
crazy
estate
market. It's insane right now. So have you been
bananas.
busy?
Well, it's just starting. I actually just launched my website. So,
Oh, nice.
So it's all very new.
Nice.
It's all very new to me.
It's got to be a fun industry though. Like once you do get your foot in the door, I think you're going to be just slammed. This
Yeah.
market in BC, especially, is just
Yeah, I know. It's all over Canada, even actually.
yeah,
But yeah, especially BC. BC is always crazy for that sort of thing.
yeah. It's always. I mean, even it's crazy right now, but it's always crazy here,
Yeah, it's
and
true.
it's just an industry that
Never stops.
it's like I think it's anything real estate is tempting to get into for a driven person.
Yeah,
Because there's a
it's
lot
true.
of money to be made. And
Totally.
if you are an entrepreneur who has a lot of like give and you just know how to like
Yeah.
take control of your own narrative kind of thing, you can be so successful
Yeah,
in real
it's
estate.
true.
Yeah, like did it take you long to kind of learn the technology behind like 3D cameras and everything?
No, it's really simple. But well, I mean, there's tips and tricks, and you get in there, you learn it. But I mean, as far as it's user friendly, right? So the camera does most of the work for you. Honestly, the hardest part is the photography. That's just my perspective. I mean, it's easy for me because I know what it is, but I think everybody thinks they're a photographer, right? Everybody has a camera on their phone, so they're like, I can take photos and they'll look nice, right? But
Yeah,
it's a little different when you're holding like a proper camera,
yeah,
right? So that's, there's a lot of scenery and different things that you can, like different ways to make a house look good, right?
yeah.
So I think that's a little more complex than the actual.
Oh, 100%. We learned that
3D.
very fast here with cameras because
Yeah.
we work with them with our film studio, our green screen studio in here. And we have actually a Blackmagic 6K. I don't know if you know those cameras. It's a video camera. It can take stills too,
Mhm.
but it's a great camera. It's amazing what it could do if you know what you're
Yeah,
doing.
if you know what you're doing. Yeah, that's the thing, right? If you don't, you're screwed.
We went to go film an event. I'm not a photographer. I'm a post production person. Like
Yeah,
I edit
editing and stuff.
and
Totally.
so when it comes to the pre-production or the production of it, it's so foreign to me.
Yeah.
So when we went to film this event, getting the settings and the lighting down on that camera was almost impossible. We finally got it. It
Yeah.
looked good, but we're so used to
But then
this.
you're like, oh my god.
We're
That
used,
was
we're used
a
to
close
auto
one,
balance. We're used to auto balance
Yeah.
and just literally hitting a button,
Yeah.
and phones can do that great. And I always, I know you're a photographer, so photographers hate hearing how good cell phones are for
Yeah, a
stuff.
little bit. I love my, actually, I'm lucky. I love my phone, and it's
Yeah.
got like 5 cameras. Way too many cameras. a phone doesn't need 5 cameras, if you're asking me. But, you know, yeah, it's one of those things where, you know, it's so much different. It's so much different. You can't control things with as much, you know, uh, like it's not as dynamic. You can do way more with an actual camera.
Yeah, yeah. I love cell phones because, like I said, I'm foreign to trying that. So if it does as much as I ask it to for me,
Mm-hmm.
it's easy. And um, but I love like the traditional camera look. I have many
Yeah.
friends, photographers, videographers that just can make like their works of art. It's a totally different vibe to the picture. You can tell what a cell phone picture looks like.
Yeah.
Even with the nice portrait modes and stuff, you can
Mm-hmm.
tell when it's
It's
taken.
good for selfies, right? It's good for just casual selfies.
Yeah.
It totally depends on what you're wanting to do with it. If you are a real estate agent, do not, do not, do not take photos on your phone of your house. just don't. I think a lot of people they just want to save money here and there, right?
Yeah.
And they're well, do I really need a photographer? Yes. Yes, you do.
It doesn't help.
It's so important. Just spend the money on the marketing.
It doesn't help that there's like I have it on my phone's one of the ones with like 5 cameras on it as well, and it has like a mode that almost looks like I'd call it real estate mode because it literally you hit the button and it brings the lens so far back that
like
the
a super
room
wide angle.
the room looks like this
Huge.
room. I've taken a picture of it and it looks like it's like a 40 by 40 room, just like insane. And
we probably have the same phone.
Yeah, Samsung S20 something.
Oh, I have the S10 Plus.
Oh yeah. I got the S20, the first S20 Ultra, like the last one or whatever. But it's insane. It's absolutely insane how many cameras. It's right here. It's that camera that's on you right now, actually.
That's a nice phone.
Yeah, it's a great phone.
Yeah.
But yeah, literally, I think it's hilarious because when I've taken pictures just to send to possible clients or people that might become members that are friends of mine, show them the studio or something, I always will dip that little thing.
Yeah,
and
you want to make it look way like huge and you know, bigger than life itself, right?
But then you see how elongated everything looks and how it almost looks like completely photoshopped because if you take a picture of a person in one of those like my
like Slender Man.
Yeah, my dad's like 5'7" Italian dude, and all of a sudden he looked like his legs were like
man, that guy's like 6 feet tall.
Yeah, but how long you been doing photography, videography since you were a kid, or?
Yeah, it's one of those things. I got a camera, you know, as a teenager. I mean, obviously you get like the dinky little cameras, right, for concerts or whatever. But yeah, I got my first proper camera as a teenager. I don't even remember how old I was. Thanks, Dad, for that one. And then, yeah, so I just kind of got really into, I love nature photography, which I think everybody starts with, right? I'm a big bird watcher, so, you know, birding, I go out and take photos of birds and stuff. And so that really kind of, I mean, if you can like photograph a bird flying past you and make it look good, I'm like convinced that you can photograph almost anything because birds are like moving subjects and they're fast, right? So that's kind of how that started. And I just started doing like freelance gigs here and there. Shot a wedding for a friend and, you know, different festivals. Like I love craft beer. So, you know, I did the craft beer festival a couple years ago and that was awesome. And yeah, just kind of snowballed from there, just doing freelance stuff, right?
Nice. Did you like always kind of know you wanted to do it for work? Like
As soon as I got my camera, I was like, I'm gonna be so good at this. I'm gonna like learn this front to back. I wanna
So how old were you when you got like your first paying gig?
Oh my god, I don't know, maybe 20.
Nice.
Maybe.
Nice. It's okay. So like there's a lot of people that want to get into it, and they get into it, and because everybody, like you said, everybody thinks they're a photographer.
Yeah.
So, and it's one thing to stay in it because, as you know, it's an art, and the arts is a tough thing.
Yeah, and it's competitive.
Very competitive, and it's tough to get your foot in the door, create a name for yourself fast enough before your bills start piling up, right?
Yeah.
Like I come from a music production background. I went to school for that in college, and first little while, it's like some little bit of money's coming in, but it's still I have to work a 9 to 5 to actually pay the proper amount of bills, and a lot of people give it up. A lot of people will just do it as a side passion, like a
Yeah.
passion project. But you're doing this, you're
I'm
starting
giving
a
her,
company,
yeah.
you're giving her, and that's like, that is so,
I think it's like make or break, especially pandemic. I mean, that was basically for me, I was laid off pandemic style, right? And it was, I was like, what am I going to do now? I can do anything. I really felt like I could do anything with almost like the freedom of it, because everybody in the whole world was in the exact same position as me, maybe not necessarily losing their jobs, but it was so quiet. Nobody was working. Everyone was evaluating. And I knew what I wanted to do for so long, and I was like, I have no excuse. Now is the time to make my own opportunity, because I think I've met so many other entrepreneurs that took the same route, right? Decided to go into it right when the world was so quiet. So I think it's a great opportunity. You guys opened like in pandemic
It
too,
wasn't
right?
planned.
It
Yeah,
wasn't planned, but
we
yeah, I
got the
guess
keys
not.
February 2020. We got the keys to this place.
No.
So then we were planning for an April open.
Weeks and then
it was like, oh, that's not a good time to open. So then we ended up having a soft open in the summer that year.
Yeah.
When the numbers were still like good, even though we weren't testing anybody, that's when the numbers were so good. But we had this place, we had a good amount of people in here in the summer. Then the restrictions started like coming down pretty hard, and it's just like that affects your numbers when they're telling people not to communicate with each other. Our thing is co-working, so that's literally community. Sure. But it's made us have to kind of switch a lot of our stuff virtual on the fly.
Yeah.
We had to, luckily we made this place kind of COVID safe, not knowing it.
Yeah.
We didn't.
That's so good.
Yeah.
It's convenient. I think a lot of businesses buckled because they didn't maybe know what to do or how to get tables 6 feet apart, or like can't maybe afford all the plastic that barriers. Right?
It's brutal. They got hit with like a brick to their face instantly. If they wanted to stay open, they had to go spend thousands of dollars to basically keep their place safe. And it's small business owners don't have the money. Thousands of dollars to a small business owner is literally the rent, or like it's just it's a pretty rough time. But like you said, everybody's going through it.
Yeah.
I find that entrepreneurs, or just people in general, since COVID, there's not many people in the middle floating. Like they're not just like kind of coasting along. It's either like go harder than ever before, or kick up their feet and like give up.
Yeah.
And it's weird. It's really like, that's what I've seen through friends, people come across that I know. There's not many people that are just like floating along, like almost normally. It's like, especially
nobody's unaffected, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's crazy. And you do a lot, you're working from home a lot, right?
Yeah.
You said you're going to be like building your own studio in your place and that stuff. How do you work from home? Are you good at home? Are you like...
Yes and no. I mean, I'm glad that things are lightening up a bit. If I just moved and I just got a studio like office, which is huge because before I didn't have that, right? And that was definitely more of a challenge, right? I'm glad that things are opening up because, now there's options for like going to the library, or even if you want, like, I like to be around like people and energy. I don't have to necessarily be talking to somebody, but even like a busy cafe or something can make you feel like you're not alone. It can make you feel like other people are working on something, and then you can work on that thing, right? So, I mean, am I good at home? As good as I can be, like it's obviously it's a challenge, but you maybe put some music on, and then you feel like maybe you're like at a party or something. You're like, yeah, I can like have some fun and work at the same time. Yeah. You can have a beer whenever you want to.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Have a cocktail.
I mean, there's probably people that are doing that at work anyways. It's not knowing, but it's why I ask is it's going to be interesting when COVID kind of wraps up. And there's been that COVID excuse for so many people this last year and a half that when businesses start getting back to normal, seeing if businesses want to open like their locations back up for people to come from their home office back to work, or if they allow people to stay home, if they notice that the numbers for the people that stay home stay the same as they were at COVID. Because I worked at home for we were a month last year when COVID first hit. We were building this place, and then it hit. My parents were watching our kid. They're both immune So if they
Yeah.
they have some issues. So it was like, okay, we can't risk this. We have to take a little time off,
Mm-hmm.
take our kid. We got nothing done. Absolutely nothing done. And
Yeah.
I have friends that are working from home and they're doing their laundry in between their job.
Yeah,
And like,
that's the thing, right? When are you working and when are you like at home doing home stuff,
and how
right?
many bosses are going to want to pay people
Yeah.
knowing that? That's it's so when they start seeing the numbers stay the same after normal comes back,
Mm-hmm.
this is really what's going to like show how people work from home. Because right
Mm-hmm.
now, like I said,
For sure.
if you're a salesperson, you're working from home, your sales numbers suck.
Mm-hmm.
It's COVID.
Yeah.
COVID passes, your sales numbers suck.
Yeah.
It's being at home. It's I know I would probably not be very good at it. It's that separation, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think with the industry that you're in, it's a lot of self motivation, anyways, to
for
make
sure.
money doing it, right?
Yeah, it's huge. Yeah, I definitely vibe with that. I like being, like I think everybody goes into entrepreneurship because they want to be, their own boss. They want to take charge of their life and have that control over it rather than have someone, breathing down your neck, like telling you what to do because maybe you have these great ideas and, you want to have the freedom to execute that, right? Which is why I think people start businesses and to be able to work with the people that they want to work with, not be forced to work with maybe unhappy people or whatever the case is. And yeah, I think that especially I think these co-working spaces are such a good idea.
Yeah.
Because like I said, like even the libraries or the cafes, like you're not in it alone, you're not at home alone, you're not distracted by laundry or cooking dinner, right? You can like go to a place, you physically leave your home, you come here, and then you do the work, and then you can leave, right? And
Yeah.
then you're not working anymore.
Yeah. And you have
Even
the
if you have
choice
a home office, you can choose, right?
yeah, and you can choose if there's certain days like people like to communicate and contribute to each other's work here, like just like help each other out.
Yeah, totally.
But there's also the choice of like you have your days that if you just want to work alone, it's easy enough to
Yeah.
do. So we have private areas, or like it's such a like almost family vibe that people kind of once you get to know each other, you kind of feel it. Like there's certain days people want to socialize, and there's some days that no, it's just like head down work.
Yeah.
But it's a community feeling that when you work for the same company doesn't really happen a lot.
Yeah.
You get a lot of angst if you have a boss
Mm-hmm.
and you have a whole staff. You're never going to have everybody like each other.
Yeah.
It's impossible. When you are your own boss,
You can totally choose who you work with.
yeah,
And who your network is, essentially, right? Yeah, I think that's huge. I think that's so big. That
Yeah.
was a big one for me, right? And have control over your schedule,
Yeah.
right? And I mean, I am a self motivator for sure, so that's why it works for me, right? But and same thing I think too, right? Is having the freedom to maybe wake up and you're having a bad day right off the start. Maybe you don't feel good. Maybe you're sick. Maybe you just can't even today, right?
Yeah.
You can just take that day off if you really need to, but you have to, remember like, okay, well, tomorrow I got to work twice as hard,
Yeah.
right? But that's at your own pace, and if you can do that, then why not, right?
Yeah, 100%. That's it's definitely a plus. And then, but it's I find as since I started this business, when we started it, we're guilty when we do take those days off. That's the one thing. It's
You feel the guilt.
you feel the guilt, and it's you know if you're running your own business, starting your own business, it doesn't stop. Like
No.
that's why the whole
No.
home thing. I ask that
Yeah.
question all the time. Is I know if we were working from home, it was really tough because you just keep working
Yeah.
all damn day.
Yeah.
So it's really
I'm
hard to
answering
separate.
work messages at like 10 o'clock sometimes. I'm
Yeah.
like, why am I doing this? I shouldn't, like, like that should be, you're shutting down, you're winding down.
Yeah.
But yeah, as an entrepreneur, you're on the social medias, you're like connecting with people, you're messaging and doing all sorts of work, right? At least if you have a physical location, you can check out
Yeah.
at some point, right?
And we're not like obviously we want people coming in here, but we understand
Yeah,
people love the comfort of home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's that option, and like that's why we offer so many different memberships by the days of week. So like if it's if you just need you work from home, but you just need that one day a week where it's like, okay, I want to like crack down, do something different, come here for that one day a week, maybe 3 days a week, work 2 days at home. This is whatever works for your schedule and what works for like your work ethic. Because I know if I woke up, we have a son, me and Aaron, so it's like He's 3 years old. He makes a huge mess. If we were to wake up one morning and we were members of a co-working space, and it's like you look at the place and it's a disaster, and you're like, okay, if I stay home, I can't work in this disaster. I have to clean this up before I start anything. Or you just go, shit, let's go, go to the co-working space for the day, deal with this when I come home after the day of work, like what most people like have to do, 9 to 5s. They go to work and they come home and deal with their home stuff then. But it's impossible to shut your brain off and kind of separate those two things. If you're fully at home, you're lucky you're a photographer. You're out on this job, like the sites in different places, different housing, different. You like nature. You get out into nature and take pictures of that. But there's some people. If you're just a salesperson, that's just like constantly on your phone at home. If you're successful, why would you stop?
Yeah, there's definitely, I think, with photography, I mean, like, for me, of course, I became a photographer and started like a photography business because I want to take photos, right? Is that most of my job? No. Honestly, it's mostly like the, connecting with people. Networking is huge. It's like my number one thing, right? Like, you got to meet people, and it's so central to your business, right? And like no expectations, just like meeting people, right? Because you never know, maybe that person will buy from you someday, maybe that person has a great connection for you, right? So that's all pretty big.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And on the phone, right? Calls.
Yeah.
Or sales calls. Don't make sales calls, but
Oh, you are it's business owners, a salesperson. No matter if you're a salesperson, you have to sell yourself. You have to sell your business. You have to, especially now, I find it's a lot less just. People want to know people personally before they pay them money.
The human connection.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, it's going kind of old school that way, and this podcast is what we're kind of trying to do too for local businesses, entrepreneurs, artists, anybody that wants to be on it is kind of show the people behind what they're doing, because it's one thing to pay a business.
Yeah. People totally buy from people, and less so from just business entities, right?
Yeah,
they want to support you and your dream and what you're going for because they think you're cool, right? Or just think you're a good person, which is, I mean, that's the dream, right? Is working with people that everybody thinks everyone's great, and then everybody's supporting each other's business.
Yeah, that's what we do. That's what we want to do. We want
You're facilitating it.
Yeah, we want to be an incubator for it. We want to startups and people that have dreams to try it out, because that's what we did. I mean, like, we were 9 to 5ers for years until we decided to do this, and it's a huge leap. And that's another reason, the options of if you can't leave your 9, we're not saying people like just jump off the boat, like just drop
willy-nilly.
If you have a mortgage to pay or rent to pay, whatever, you have all these bills, and it's just like, you know what, no, I want to do this that I've always wanted to do, and just give it all up. But that's the one day a week, like the small days a week where side hustles people should be like showing their passion for their side hustles hard right now, especially if they do have some free time. It's a one time in your life you can try it. You're trying it out. You're trying to do this.
You have to.
Yeah.
I mean, I would regret it for my whole life if I didn't like try it, right?
Yeah.
So.
No, I know you would, because I know people, my parents' generation, that like that's the conversations I have with them now.
Yeah, totally.
Is, oh my God, you guys.
I wish I'd done that. I wish I tried to make a co-working space when I was your age.
Yeah, or anything, or even like my parents always talk about real estate. It's just like you got to think about Vancouver real estate 30 years ago was not where it is now. People, if they bought, like, I think my mom said that she bought her first house in Vancouver for like $60-something thousand. It's just like. That if you were a person if you had a good paying job in the 80s and you were buying all these little properties, you'd be a millionaire right now. And that it's just different things you don't think you can get into or do. People are scared of, and they're just need it to be normal, and they just want to have almost like a comfort level of just like that 9 to 5. You know, the money's coming. You know.
You don't have stress, like, don't have to work on my taxes, or I could just like send that to someone else. You can do that with a business too.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
have to do your own business taxes.
Yeah. And no, it costs you money, a lot of money. It's
No, yeah.
fine if you
Yeah.
add the word business to anything,
Yeah.
like just like
Yeah.
hike it up.
And plus $500.
Yeah. So where can we find you? Where can we find out how to use your services?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram,
Yeah.
Which is Estate Vision 3D, all just one word. My website just launched, so that's www.estatevision3d.com. Estate Vision 3D, I believe, on Facebook. So yeah, Facebook, Instagram. I have YouTube as well, which is just where I upload mostly property videos and stuff. It's not too populated right now, but yeah. So Instagram, Facebook, those are the big ones. LinkedIn, oh my god, I want to connect with everybody on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So LinkedIn's a big one for me. Braidey Sturgeon.
Nice.
Braidey.
Okay.
Sturgeon like the fish.
Nice.
Brady like the bunch, but with more vowels.
Yeah, like a braid EY, right?
Yeah, braid like hair braid.
Yeah.
And EY. Yeah, there's a lot of vowels to confuse you.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
LinkedIn been good for you? Like, is LinkedIn just?
I love LinkedIn.
I know it's great. I think it's
so underutilized.
Underutilized, and it's the most easy search tool for people in the industry you're looking for that you could ever use. Even before I started this company and I was working different, I was in warehouse management. It was the best tool to find work.
Yeah,
it
totally.
is absolutely.
It's like Indeed, but better.
Way better, because it's a social media platform,
yeah,
so
exactly.
you can kind of know the person before, like if you're trying to interview somebody and you look at their profile, it's not like going to their Facebook profile where it's literally like the most unprofessional side of them.
Yeah.
You can actually like, and I don't feel like it's fair to judge people because everybody deserves their life outside of business, and that's where LinkedIn is kind of mixing the two a little bit, where people can show their personalities, but it's kind of like this. It's like the podcast. I found like LinkedIn is just kind of showing your business, but the fun, like quirky things about what you do in your business. I love it. It's done a lot. Yeah, at the beginning I wasn't I didn't use it that much, and then once we talked to, it felt like everybody in the Tri-Cities that we were trying to promote this place to, it was like, okay, let's try LinkedIn, and it was like, man, why didn't we try this from the beginning? It's so it's personable. It's great.
It can really help with like any career stuff, right? Like I know people that they struggle with their business life, with what they're going to do next, with maybe with their job, and I'm like, well, are you on LinkedIn? No, you got to get on LinkedIn because it's so big.
Yeah,
it's huge.
It's crazy because like you go onto different social media platforms. If you were to contact like somebody who's, I'll say celebrity, but it's not exactly a celebrity, but somebody who's successful with whatever you're searching for, a verified person, let's say, or something. And with LinkedIn, I've reached out to those people in the past that work in, like, let's say, podcasting or anybody in film work or anything that are big names, and on Instagram, whatever, they don't message you back. I've had quite a bit of people in the broadcasting industry, podcasting industry, reply to me and talk to me on LinkedIn.
Yeah, they take it more seriously because of your business connections rather than just like an Instagram DM.
So it's been help. Yeah. It's actually help. It's actually like people with knowledge giving their feedback, and it's I will. Hey, LinkedIn, pay me if you.
Yeah, no kidding. Some free advertising for LinkedIn here.
But yeah, I'll put a graphic up at the end of this, just showing how to get in contact with you. Like you said, all your accounts, just so everybody can. I guarantee you, we have some listeners that are most likely going to be selling their house. There's just so many people selling their houses right now. I'm one of them.
Realtors hit me up.
Yeah, hit you up. I'll definitely. I maybe mentioned you to our realtor because she's great. I've had her on the podcast.
Oh, great. Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for coming on. That's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I'm happy for you. Thank you.
I have to ask before we go. Is that Fountainhead? How'd you come up with that? Is that like Ayn Rand?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But I can't take credit for it because it's my mother-in-law. If you met Roberta, she is the brains behind this place. Like she invested in Bitcoin years ago.
Really?
And then used the finances to fund this place. She has a really big sense of like just do it your own way, work for yourself.
True entrepreneur.
decentralized currency, even just not so controlled state. Like we were in it's kind of it's a crazy ideology right now because it seems like people don't want us going in that direction. It's more like we want everybody to kind of have the same ideology, but it's not how life should be, in my opinion.
There's so many different kinds of people and different philosophies
and you can't
on how to do it, right?
Yeah, and we keep on evolving, and that's what the whole story of the Fountainhead, right? Like it's just they tell you to do it a certain way, and you're like, no, I want to do it this way, my own way. And who are they to tell you how that's wrong? Because there was somebody who came up with the original idea of how to do things that they got their idea from somebody else. So it's just the generations that get bitter when things change, and the younger generation, I would say, makes it better.
Yeah, trying to evolve it.
Yeah. So that's how we got it. Me and Aaron are definitely. I haven't even read the book. I just know the story.
I haven't either. I'm familiar with it, so I thought I'd ask.
Yeah. It's we get the question a lot.
Oh, do you? Okay.
Yeah. But I guess there's a pub in Vancouver called the Fountainhead.
Oh, really?
They're the Fountainhead pub or something. I don't know if that's where they got it to, but yeah, really what we are is we're trying to a big thing is just like freedom of speech, freedom of freedom to listen to
association.
People aren't listening to each other. Yeah, people don't listen to each other anymore. They fight, and it's I don't know what it is. We're a really big component on independent media because we find that media, like mainstream media, really they promote what they want to promote, and if you don't, and a lot of it's politically backed, that they're making people think that if you have different ideologies that aren't even it's different if you're dealing with bigots or something, like those people can screw the hell off. But if you're different with little things in the world, they're making it seem like you can't be friends if you don't agree on every little aspect of life. And that's not true at all.
You gotta have friends that are different from you. I think that's really important, actually. Not living in an echo chamber, right?
Yeah.
Just exposing yourself to different kinds of people. Obviously there's limits to that. You don't want to be hanging out with racists.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot and I think what is I don't like getting far down the rabbit hole, but it's really not fair to generalize people for having little differences of opinion, and it's the censorship of people right now people aren't allowed to be their real selves. And I'm not saying be hateful, but it's just scared to be themselves because of the backlash. And it's not going to be a really good world to live in if that's what they keep pushing, is that everybody has to have this. And with social media and everybody canceling each other on social media, it's just, and it's not one.
Nobody wants to get canceled.
No, and it's not nobody. It's not even one political party that's doing it. It's literally both sides.
Everybody's just
thinks everybody that's not them is an idiot, and I feel like so many more people are just right here. They're right in the middle, and they're just like, be a good damn person. Just be a good person to one another, and
just be kind.
Respect each other. You can have these differences of opinion, but just be a good person, and we don't have that right now. So it's
we have people on Facebook getting into arguments.
Yep.
Right.
Ending friendships at 10, 15, 20 years because of vaccination ideology. Like it's people are allowed to have their opinions. They're allowed to. And like I said, as long as it's not hateful or violent, aggressive in a way where it's just it's just out there. It doesn't make sense. But if you have a reason to be vax or something, I'm not, but it's just, if you have a reason, if you know somebody who's died, there's studies out there, there's things people are allowed to feel a certain way.
You can't change the way a person thinks.
No.
Either, right? And the more you try, the more they're gonna double down on it.
Unless you're respectful in the way you deliver, and that's not something people are good at right now. It's if you don't have my ideology, you're an idiot, and nobody is going to take any information, even if it's the best information, the most real information you'll ever get. If you're told you're an idiot, or just have that vibe at the first,
be kind and compassionate and educate, right? And the way that you deliver, right? Yeah, it's hard. It's not easy to navigate.
No, definitely not.
At all.
But yeah. I guess I'll end this off before we get too deep into
I'm glad I
world
asked,
issues.
but
Yeah, no, it's a crazy time. It's an absolute crazy time in the world right now. And yeah, it's tough being even in the podcasting world, because like that's why I brought up Joe Rogan earlier. He's the biggest podcast in the world that talks real. He will have a guest one day that's one side of the fence, next day the other side of the fence, and he lets them talk. He listens. If he doesn't agree, he says something in a way where it's like they joke about it.
Yeah.
But that's the conversations I remember growing up around family, friends, whatever it was.
Yeah, just
let people joke around and come maybe argue, debate, allow them.
But hug at the end. You know?
Yeah.
Hug each other at the end of
have
it.
a beer, do what you need to do. But it did not get to a point where we're at now, where it's just like basically ruin the other person's life. That's what they've been trying to do to so many people.
True. It's true. Well, hopefully, I mean, there's a very small amount of people in the world that deserve that, right?
Yeah.
And that's like the truly heinous people that are, just have terrible, ideals or ideologies that are, just toxic to everyone, right?
The extremely vocal minorities.
Yeah.
That's what I like to call it. Is what we almost look at as a majority of people, because that's all you see on social media is the negative arguing, the trolls online. That's because they're the most vocal and the ones that create the most drama, and that's what you see.
I'm only in the business of elevating other people. I don't want to bring other people down. Right?
Yeah.
Everybody I don't know. You always see something on Facebook and it kind of maybe triggers you and you're like, oh, I want to say something, but then you gotta be like, no, don't.
Well, it's just like people
hold it back. There's no point fighting on Facebook, right? No point at all, or on social media at all. Facebook's the big one. I think everybody does on Facebook, right? Because it's so easy. You're scrolling and you're looking. You're like, that was kind of whack what that person just said or whatever.
Oh yeah.
But there's no point.
And even
no
Google.
Point at all.
Even Google, for businesses, rating them. I was reading this a while back that it's just the stats of people posting positive to negative. And let's say you order from a restaurant a million times and you have one bad experience.
One time you're like, I'm getting on Google.
You don't get on Google, and every time you have a great time, you don't go 5 stars. You don't think about it because you're eating your food. You're
only thinking about it.
As soon as you get it could be the driver's fault. It could be anything. It's oh, my food got here cold. I'm gonna bitch about it. Yeah. Give them a 1 star, and now this small family business that you've loved for years took their 4.5 star rating down to a 3 because they've had a few negative reviews due to somebody taking the time to be negative.
Reviews are so important, especially to small businesses, right? It's huge, right? It can really make or break. It's there's a ton of stuff about people leaving fake reviews on Google, people who have never bought from that company at all, and they'll show up and be like, oh, this was late and I had a bad time, or this never showed up, even though they never actually ordered anything, and they're just trying to fuck with local businesses and stuff, which is so whack. I mean, obviously, I think there's a purpose for leaving a bad review, right? If you're having a lot of bad time with that people, or they're not meeting your needs, and then that gives them the opportunity. Now they know, they're like, oh, we got to do better. Yeah. Right. Yeah. But I mean, also, if you're having a good time, rate them, right? Yeah. Rate those people if they're great.
Yeah, and they don't.
Elevate those people and those businesses that you love.
Yeah, it's scary because you never know if it's just competition. It's if one person gets on there.
Oh, I never even thought about that.
It happens. Yeah. It's
what's the point of that? You just
it's people.
Elevate other people.
There's a lot of people that exactly. That's I'm glad you're the same kind of ideology. We want to elevate people. We want to bring the best out of them.
Yeah, there's no point in shit talking people or businesses.
No, definitely not.
Especially not as a business. It's bad karma.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. I think every little thing could tie into bad karma. Every business decision you make, if you're trying to do it cutthroat in any way,
oh my God,
it will come back.
I feel like that's it's the way businesses were maybe even 30 years ago, right? It's everything was competition. But I think it's you get so much more powerful results if you're working with people that, collaborating, right?
Yeah. I'd say it's a new generation. It's a new generation.
Yeah, business owners, for sure. I think the younger, millennials getting into business, it's they're changing the game.
Yeah, 100%. Well, thank you.
Anyway, we can keep going on.
If you ever want to come in again and talk,
Yeah.
I do this podcast. I do another one that's more just general conversation called Fountain of Truth.
Truth. I love it.
And that's it can really goes into politics a lot.
Yeah.
I'm not even. People think I'm super political. I'm not. It's just such
it's a political climate.
Everything's tied to politics. It doesn't matter what it is. It's politics. I don't know if that
so
was.
many people are involved in it now. It's not just reserved for old rich white men anymore.
No, but they keep voting them in.
Yeah,
Except I guess we got Trudeau, but I won't get into that. But it started. I think the political climate started with Trump getting in. I think that's when it really just started tying itself. Couldn't go a day without hearing about politics, and we don't even live in that damn country.
Yeah, or even Obama, honestly, because it was such a big deal.
Yeah,
and it was huge, right? Everybody wanted to talk about first black president.
Yeah.
Right? And then Trump and
Okay.
Anyway, on and on and on.
Well, thank you, Braidey.
Thanks for having me here to promote my sweet little business.
No problem.
Estate Vision.
Well, good luck with it. I can see you're gonna succeed in it because you seem passionate about what you do, plus you're in the right industry with real estate photography. That's the Matterport things are cool. They're really, if you're not in the housing climate, you haven't, even if you just want to go look at $1 million homes, $2 million homes that do Matterports, and it's just it's crazy what we can do.
3D tours are insane.
Yeah,
lots more to come on my Instagram.
Awesome. So check out this graphic after this here, and find her on all those different social media platforms we were talking about. But thank you.
Thank you.
This is Braidey Sturgeon from
Estate Vision.
Estate Vision. I almost said a different Elite Vision, but that's because I've been around.
That's my other hustle.
I was a pro wrestler for years for Elite Canadian Championship Wrestling. Got stuck embedded in my head. But Estate Vision. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good one.